Good morning, Happy Tech Tip Thursday. Um, Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Apex, but I wanted to talk to you about some of the resources that are available to students that you can show students to access to help them with their courses. I'm in English, but it doesn't matter because these are going to be the same way in every single course. So up here, we have our table of contents. We can click on it and we can go to our resources from there. But I also wanted to point out most often students will be on the screen where they have it up here, and resources is also this little briefcase icon. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to the syllabus and the key terms. I'm going to click on the key terms because this is the one that I like to show to students. Um, so this is a glossary of all their vocabulary, and I love to tell students just to print this out. So you press print and you come up with the option to save as PDF. So when you save it as a PDF, and when the student saves it as a PDF, they're going to have the option when they save it to save it to their Google Drive. So I always encourage students, make sure whenever you save anything at school, it's going into the Google Drive. So that's the location you're choosing over here on the left. And you press save and it's there. Through the magic of television, I actually already have it here in my recent documents. Um, so here is the PDF of key terms. It does give it a default name. Doesn't really matter. And it's right here as a PDF. It looks a little bit funny. I'm going to go ahead and click open with and open it with Google Docs. And the nice thing about this is Google Docs then takes that PDF and translates it into words. So now instead of it being a PDF, the students now have the vocabulary written out for them, right? I'm going to scroll down. They got my weird button here. Um, One thing that can happen, it doesn't seem to have, right here, is sometimes some of the vocabulary comes up with these weird black fill. What I always do, and I always tell students to do, is to select all, which you can also do with Control A, and come up here and go to highlight and go to none. And that will take away anywhere where it's black. I don't know why, but sometimes they're always there. So you have 15 pages of key terms that a student has. When a student is doing a quiz, they could come in here um, once it is in Google Docs, go up to edit, do find and replace, and let's say they are learning about pathos. The advantage of this being an English class that I know it really well. So I put in pathos and it can take me straight to the word pathos, which is down here at the bottom of the screen, right? There's actually 2 copies of it. Oh, it's in here twice, and that happens sometimes with the key terms. Okay, so this is one thing that I like to show to students. Another thing that I'm going to show you is the way that they can so easily take notes. Before you leave with the students, have them call this key terms English 10, right? That way they can find it in the future. You do have to teach kids how to name files because they do a poor job of it. Okay. Now, we're going to go back to Apex, and I want to point out something else to you. So if I go back and I go into a study, so I'm going to go ahead and go into a study. And I definitely talk to students about purpose points and all of that stuff, but you guys know all that stuff. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things that I show them in the study guide. So now we already have a Google Doc open for English, and this is our key terms for English. But I may want to have, and I definitely want to have a doc open for vocabulary or for notes. So I have my vocabulary, but I also want to have a blank doc open for notes. So I have this blank document right here. And one thing that I like to show students is you can come up here and you see how this is on page number 1. So let's say you happen to know that on page 7, there's something important that you want to point out to a student in this unit. I can come up here and enter page 7, enter that number 7, and press enter, and it goes straight to page 7. This can be a huge time saver if you really know your courses, instead of having to hit next, 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 right? Okay. One of the things that we can do is we can come here, and let's say I think this is a really important sentence. I can grab this and I can just drag it. You see how I drug into here? So these can now become my notes for this class, right? So it's really easy to keep notes. Now, one thing that frequently comes up is there will be images in here, right? So this is talking about more formal writing and what it does. What are some of the characteristics, which is definitely something that's going to be on the quiz. So because this is an image, I right-clicked and I did copy image. I come over here and I can paste that image. And now I have that image in there. Now this doesn't always work. So sometimes it'll be an interactive, right? So let me show you an interact. Okay, so on page 3, we have one of the interactives. On this one, in this case, you go over the interactive and you get words, right? So if I go over it, they do usually have transcripts. So you can definitely click on the transcript and it's going to give you all of this in a nice written way that the kids could definitely take for their notes. But sometimes this graphic is really useful. And the only way to get it is to do your good old-fashioned print screen. And on the kids' devices, they have it. So I do my print screen. It comes up with this. I do that. So if you hit that, it's a print screen button that is on the keyboard. You then get the option, and it gives me the snippet tool and puts it on the keyboard. This will work similarly in a Chromebook when you hit that print screen. And see, now I only have one of them, so I would have to go back through and roll over all of them to take them all. But this certainly would let me do this, and depending on the graphic, it might be worth it for me to spend my time there. Also, if there's a transcript available, they can just click on the transcript. Okay, so these are just some great ways they can drag stuff in, and I really encourage students just start a document, just drag in the things that are important. It encourages students to look for what's important in the unit. Another way that I might use this is afterwards, if they fail the quiz, I would have them go back through, type in the answers you failed on the quiz, and then find them and tell me what page you found them on in the APEX study. This gives you a helpful thing because it creates a guide for you where they find the answers. It also helps the student because it makes them look back and see where they could have found the answers and forces them to go back to the study instead of just getting the right answers from someone. I hope this helps, and I hope you can use this to guide your students. Really point out to them that this they can keep open. It makes it an open book, open notes test, right? You just got to take the notes. Anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this helps you and your students, and have a great Thursday morning.